When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Think about that for a moment. Not just with your mind, feel it. Let it settle into your heart. Because this isn't just a clever phrase, it's the very foundation of how you shape your reality. See, your perception is your world. What you see out there, the people, the challenges, the opportunities, isn't what's actually out there. It's a reflection of what's in here, within you. And the most exciting part? You have the power to shift it at any moment. Here's where it gets interesting. Most of us are walking around with lenses on lenses that were handed to us by our parents, our schools, our experiences, and even our fears. These lenses color everything we see. If you believe the world is a hostile place, guess what? Everywhere you look, you'll find proof of hostility. If you believe you're unworthy, every mirror, every interaction will echo that back to you. But what if just for tonight you decide to clean those lenses? What if you could see everything differently? Imagine this, you're standing in front of a window that's fogged up. You're trying to see the beautiful garden on the other side, but all you get is blur. Now, the garden hasn't disappeared. It's still there, vibrant and alive. The problem is the fog on the glass. And that fog, that's your thoughts, your judgments, your limiting beliefs. Now, here's the hook. You don't need to change the garden. You only need to clean the glass. Let's go deeper, Dot. Think about a tough situation in your life right now. Maybe it's a strained relationship, a job that's draining your energy, or a goal that feels out of reach. Now, ask yourself, what if the problem isn't the situation itself? What if it's how I'm looking at it? When you change the way you look at the relationship, the job, the goal, suddenly possibilities you couldn't see before begin to appear. A fight with a loved one transforms into an opportunity for deeper understanding. A job that feels like a dead end becomes a stepping stone to something greater. Here's a quick story to bring this home. A man once came to me frustrated and stuck. He said, "Wayne, I've been working at the same place for years. I hate it. My boss doesn't appreciate me, and I feel like I'm wasting my life." I asked him one question: what if this job isn't happening to you, but for you? At first, he resisted. He said, "How could this be for me?" But then he started looking at it differently. He realized this job had taught him patience. It had funded his family's needs. It had even given him the skills to one day pursue his dream business. The job didn't change, he did. And as he changed, the energy he brought to work shifted and new doors began to open. Here's the kicker. Reality is not fixed. The way you see the world is creating the world you see. Let that sink in. Now, I want you to try something with me. Close your eyes unless you're driving. Take a deep breath. Think of something that's been weighing on you. Picture it vividly. Now, ask yourself, what's another way to see this? What's the gift in this moment that I've been overlooking? Sometimes the gift is small, a lesson, a nudge toward growth. Sometimes it's massive, a complete breakthrough. But it's always there. You just have to choose to see it. Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine you're holding a kaleidoscope. Every time you twist it, the same pieces of glass rearrange into a brand new pattern. The pieces don't change. What changes is how they're aligned. Life is exactly like that. You're not stuck with the pattern you're seeing now. You can twist the lens and create something entirely new. But here's the challenge: most of us are too afraid to twist. Why? Because we've grown comfortable with the current pattern, even if it's painful. We tell ourselves this is just how life is, but guess what? Life isn't how it is. Life is how you are. Ask yourself this: what would happen if you decided right now to look at everything in your life through the lens of possibility instead of limitation? What if you chose to see setbacks as setups for something greater? What if every no became a step closer to your yes? Here's a surprising truth. The people you admire most, the ones who've transformed their lives, they didn't do it because their circumstances were perfect. They did it because they decided to change their lens. Think of someone like Oprah Winfrey. She grew up in poverty, faced unimaginable challenges, but she didn't let those define her. She looked at her circumstances and said, "This is not where my story ends." She chose to see her struggles as fuel for her rise. And you can do the same. Now, let's make this practical, Dot. Here's a tool you can use starting tonight. I call it the 3-question shift. The next time you're facing a challenge, ask yourself, 1, what am I focusing on right now? 2, is there another way to look at this? 3. How can I use this to grow? These questions aren't magic, but the answers you uncover will be. Let me tell you something radical. The world doesn't change because you will it to. It changes because you will yourself to see it differently. When you approach your life with gratitude, curiosity, and a willingness to shift, the entire universe bends to meet you. So tonight I challenge you, be brave enough to twist the kaleidoscope, be bold enough to clean the foggy glass, because the world you dream of, it's already here, waiting for you to see it. And when you do, oh my friend, when you do, nothing will ever look the same again. You're not stuck, you're just seeing from the wrong angle. Let that idea settle in for a moment. Because maybe right now you're feeling trapped, like the walls are closing in, like no matter what you do, you just can't move forward. But here's the truth, you are not stuck. You are simply looking at your situation from one narrow perspective. See, life is a lot like standing in front of a massive painting. If you're too close, all you'll see are a few brushstrokes, random lines, maybe even chaos. But take a step back. Suddenly, the whole masterpiece comes into view. And that step, that's your shift in perception. Let me ask you this. How many times have you been in a situation that felt impossible only to look back months or years later and think, wow, that was exactly what I needed? Why does that happen? Because time gives you distance, and distance gives you perspective. Now, here's the thing, you don't need to wait for time to pass to change your perspective. You can do it right now. Let's go deeper, Dot. Think about a problem in your life, something that's been weighing on you. Maybe it's a relationship, a financial struggle, or even your health. Whatever it is, I want you to picture it in your mind. Now imagine looking at it from above like a bird soaring high in the sky. From up there, does the problem seem as big as it did before? Or does it look smaller, more manageable? This is what I mean when I say you're just seeing from the wrong angle most of the time. We're so zoomed in on our problems that we lose sight of the bigger picture. But when you rise above, when you step into a new perspective, everything changes. Here's a quick story to illustrate this. There was a young woman I met once who was completely overwhelmed by her life. She just lost her job. Her car broke down and she felt like the universe was against her. She came to me in tears and said, "Wayne, I'm stuck. Nothing is working." I asked her a simple question, what if this isn't happening to you, but for you? At first, she looked at me like I was crazy, but then slowly she started to shift her perspective. She realized losing her job wasn't the end, it was a chance to pursue her passion. She saw the broken car as an opportunity to slow down and reflect. The circumstances didn't change overnight, but her perception did, and that's where the magic began. Here's the hook. Your circumstances are not your prison. Your thoughts about them are. Now let's talk about angles, Dot. Have you ever seen a prism? When light passes through it, it splits into a rainbow. The light doesn't change. What changes is how the prism bends it. Your life is the same. It's not about changing the light, it's about adjusting the prism. Think about a challenge you're facing right now. Ask yourself, what's another way to see this? What am I not noticing because I'm looking at this from only one angle? Here's a practical exercise you can do tonight. Write down one problem that feels insurmountable. Now, write 3 different ways to look at it. For example, instead of "I'm stuck in this job, try this job" is teaching me patience and resilience. Instead of "this relationship is broken, try this is an opportunity for growth, whether together or apart." Instead of "I can't afford this, try what can I create or do to make this possible." This simple act of reframing can open doors you didn't even know were there. Let me share another metaphor with you. Imagine you're in a maze. You're walking through, hitting dead ends, feeling frustrated, but what if you could rise above the maze and see it from above? Suddenly the path becomes clear. The walls that seemed to trap you were never permanent, they were just part of the design. Life works the same way. When you feel stuck, it's not because the maze is impossible, it's because you haven't yet found the right angle to see your way through. Here's a surprising truth. The universe is always working in your favor, even when it doesn't feel like it. Sometimes what looks like a setback is really a setup for something greater, but you can't see that if you're clinging to the same perspective. Let me give you another example. A man once told me he'd failed at starting his own business. He said, "Wayne, I gave it everything I had and it still didn't work. I'm stuck." I asked him, what if this wasn't a failure? What if it was a course correction? That one question changed everything for him. He realized the skills he'd gained, the people he'd met, and the lessons he'd learned were preparing him for something even bigger. A year later, he started a new business and it thrived. Here's the takeaway. You're never stuck. You're just being asked to see from a new angle. Let me leave you with this thought. What if every challenge in your life right now is actually a gift? What if the doors you think are closed are just waiting for you to find another way in? You're not stuck. You're growing, learning, expanding. And the moment you decide to shift your perspective, you'll see what was there all along, infinite possibilities waiting for you to step into them. Take a deep breath. Feel that. It's the freedom of knowing that you hold the power to see differently, and in doing so, to transform your entire world. Life isn't happening to you, it's responding to you. Think about that. Let it settle in for a moment. It's not the events, the circumstances, or even the people in your life that define your experience. It's the energy, the thoughts, and the beliefs you bring to the table. Your thoughts are the script writers of your experience. Every single thought you think is writing the next scene of your life. Are you ready to take the pen back? Here's the thing, most of us don't realize we're holding the pen at all. We think life is just unfolding in front of us, random and out of control. But I'm here to tell you that's not how it works. Life is a mirror reflecting back exactly what you put into it. Let me share a little story. Years ago, I met someone who was stuck, truly stuck. He said, "Wayne, my life is a mess. My relationships are strained, my finances are crumbling, and I feel like I'm drowning." I looked at him and said, "What's your story about life? What are you telling yourself every day?" He paused. Then he said, "I guess I'm always thinking, why does this keep happening to me?" There it was. That script, those 6 little words, was writing his life for him. And the universe? It was simply responding. Here's a powerful truth. Life doesn't punish. It doesn't reward. It responds. If your energy says, "I'm a victim," then life will hand you more experiences to prove you right. If your energy says, "I'm abundant, I'm capable, I'm enough," life will rise up to meet that vibration. Now let me ask you, what story have you been telling about your life? What script has been running in the background of your mind? Because here's the kicker, whatever it is, life is listening. Let's dive deeper, Dot. Imagine you're sitting in front of a piano. The keys are there, white and black, waiting for you to play something. Now, you could pound on those keys randomly and call it chaos, or you could deliberately choose a melody. Life is the same. It's neutral, completely neutral, until you decide what tune to play. But here's where most people get stuck. They think, "Wayne, I can't change my tune. I've been playing this song of struggle and doubt for years." But let me tell you something extraordinary. The moment you decide to play a different tune, everything begins to shift. It doesn't matter how long you've been stuck. It doesn't matter how deep the patterns go. All that matters is the moment you say, "Enough. I'm rewriting this story right now." Here's an exercise for you, Dot. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Now imagine your life is a movie. Picture it clearly, the scenes, the dialogue, the moments of struggle, the triumphs. Now ask yourself, if I could rewrite this script, what would I change? Would you make the main character stronger, more confident, more loving? Would you write in moments of unexpected blessings, open doors, and joyful connection? Here's the secret you can. You are the writer, and life is just the screen waiting to project your story. Let me share another example, Dot. There's a woman I worked with who was constantly attracting drama into her life, drama at work, drama with friends, drama everywhere. She told me, "It's like I have a magnet for chaos." I asked her, "What do you believe about yourself and others?" She thought for a moment and said, "I guess I believe people are out to get me." Can you see how that belief was shaping her experience? She walked into every situation expecting chaos, and life responded. Once she changed that belief, once she started telling herself people are kind and I deserve peace, the drama began to fade. Here's a hook for you. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Let that sink in. If you want love, be loving. If you want abundance, feel abundant. If you want peace, be peaceful. This is not about pretending or forcing positivity. It's about aligning your energy with what you truly desire. Let's get practical, Dot. Here's a simple shift you can make starting tonight. When something bad happens, when you're stuck in traffic, when someone cuts you off, when things don't go your way, ask yourself, what is life trying to teach me right now? How can I respond differently? Instead of reacting with frustration, choose to see the gift. Maybe that traffic jam is giving you a moment to reflect. Maybe that rude person is teaching you patience. Here's the challenge. Life isn't about what happens to you. It's about how you choose to respond. Every moment you're making a choice. You can choose fear or you can choose love. You can choose blame or you can choose responsibility. You can choose to see lack or you can choose to see abundance. And the more you choose wisely, the more life responds in kind. Let me leave you with this thought. Imagine waking up tomorrow and deciding that everything is happening for you, not to you, that every setback is a setup for growth, that every closed door is redirecting you to something better. How would that change your day? How would that change your life? Because here's the truth, you are not a victim of life. You are the creator of it. And the moment you take that power back, the moment you decide to write a new story, life will rise to meet you in ways you never imagined. So my friend, the question is simple. Are you ready to rewrite the story? The most powerful tool you own is invisible. It's your mindset. Think about that. It's not in your wallet, not in your car, not in the latest gadget you bought. It's right here in your mind, shaping everything you do every moment of every day. And here's the kicker, most of us don't even realize its power. See, your mindset isn't just the way you think, it's the lens through which you experience life. It determines whether you see a challenge as an obstacle or as an opportunity. It's the difference between waking up and saying, why me? Or waking up and saying, try me. Here's a hook for you. What if I told you that your mindset is the only thing standing between you and the life you've always dreamed of? Not money, not luck, not circumstances, just the way you choose to think. Let's break this down. Most people go through life on autopilot. They react instead of respond. Someone cuts them off in traffic, they get angry. A dream doesn't pan out, they give up. A failure happens, they think, this is who I am. But listen carefully, you are not your circumstances and you are not your failures. You are the creator of your reality, and it all starts with your mindset. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how two people can face the exact same situation but have completely different outcomes? Take two co-workers who get laid off on the same day. One goes home, sinks into despair, and tells everyone their life is over. The other? They decide, this is my chance to build something better, and they start taking steps toward a new career or a lifelong dream. Same situation, different mindset. Now, here's the truth, life doesn't happen to you. Life happens through you, Dot. Imagine you're holding a magnifying glass. The sun's rays shine down on everyone equally, but the magnifying glass focuses that energy, turning it into a powerful beam. Your mindset works the same way. It focuses your energy, your thoughts, and your actions. And when you focus on abundance, peace, and joy, guess what? You start to create them in your life. Here's a little secret. Most people spend their energy focused on what they don't want. I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be broke, but the universe doesn't hear. It only hears the focus, failure, loneliness, lack. What you focus on expands. So if you're constantly thinking about what's missing, you'll attract more lack. But when you shift your mindset, when you focus on gratitude, on what's working, on what's possible, you begin to attract abundance, peace, and joy. Let's make this practical. Right now, think of something you want in your life. Maybe it's a better job, a healthier relationship, or just more happiness day to day. Now ask yourself, what thoughts am I feeding about this? Are you thinking, it's too hard, it'll never happen, I don't deserve it? Or are you thinking, I can figure this out, the right opportunities are coming to me, I am worthy of this? Here's the shift. You have to start feeding the thoughts that align with the life you want. Your mind is like a garden. You can plant seeds of fear, doubt, and limitation, or you can plant seeds of growth, possibility, and abundance. But whatever you plant, understand this, that's what will grow. Let me tell you a quick story. There was a young woman I met once. She said, Wayne, I'm always anxious. No matter what I do, I can't escape it. I asked her, what do you focus on every morning when you wake up? She said, all the things that could go wrong today. I told her, you're not anxious. You're practiced at thinking anxious thoughts. Change the practice and you'll change the outcome. So I gave her this exercise every morning before getting out of bed. List 3 things you're excited about, just 3. It could be as small as having a cup of coffee or as big as working on a new project. And within a week, she told me, I'm starting to feel different, lighter. Hopeful her mindset shifted. And so did her life. Here's the takeaway. Your mindset is like a thermostat. It sets the temperature for your entire life. If you're set at scarcity, you'll only see lack. But if you're set at abundance, you'll notice opportunities everywhere. Let me hit you with a challenge. What if, starting right now, you decided to set your mindset to abundance, peace, and joy? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself as the person you want to be, confident, grateful, radiating peace. Now hold that image in your mind, because here's the truth. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Here's where it gets exciting. When you change your mindset, you don't just change your own life, you start to influence the lives of everyone around you. Your energy shifts and people feel it. You've met people like this before, haven't you? Someone who walks into a room and instantly makes you feel calm, uplifted, inspired. That's the power of their mindset. And guess what? You can be that person too. So here's a little exercise for tonight. Write down one belief you've been holding onto that's no longer serving you. Maybe it's, I'm not good enough, or I'll never succeed. Write it down and then physically cross it out. Replace it with a belief that empowers you. Something like, I am more than enough, or success is already on its way to me. Feel that shift? That's your mindset at work. And remember this, the most powerful tool you own isn't visible. It's not something you can hold in your hands or show off to the world, but it's shaping your reality every second of every day. When you harness it, when you choose to align your mindset with abundance, peace, and joy, you become unstoppable. So go ahead, step into that power. Because the life you want, it's already waiting for you. You just need to claim it. You're not here by accident. Let's start there. Take those words in not with your ears, but with your soul. You're not a random collection of molecules. You're not a coincidence in the grand scheme of the universe. You're here, right now, with a purpose so unique, so powerful, that the entire universe conspired to bring you into existence. Feel that truth settle into you. But let's get real for a second. How many of you have ever felt lost? Disconnected? Like you're wandering through life, checking boxes, meeting deadlines, doing all the right things, and yet something feels off. That gnawing sense that there's more, that you're meant for something bigger. That's your inner self whispering, wake up, align with your purpose. Let me tell you something radical. Your purpose isn't something you find, it's something you remember. It's already there, waiting, calling, like a faint melody you can't quite make out because the noise of the world is drowning it out. And that noise? It's the expectations, the fears, the doubts, the endless stream of what ifs and I'm not enoughs. But tonight I want to invite you to silence the noise and tune in to the deeper reason behind your existence. Here's the hook. You are here to align. Not to struggle, not to hustle endlessly, not to fit into a mold that someone else designed for you. You're here to align. Because when you align with your purpose, life flows, challenges become opportunities, setbacks become stepping stones. And your soul begins to sing the melody it was born to play. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to live with such ease, such joy, such clarity? It's not because their lives are perfect. It's because they've tapped into their purpose. They're living in harmony with who they're meant to be. But here's the catch. Most of us are living out of alignment. And when you're out of alignment, life feels heavy. It's like trying to drive a car with the parking brake on. You're moving, but it's exhausting. The truth is, when you're not aligned with your purpose, every step feels like a struggle. So how do you align? First, let's talk about trust, Dot. You've got to trust that the universe didn't make a mistake with you. You weren't an afterthought. The circumstances of your birth, the challenges you faced, the gifts you've been given, they all point to your purpose. But here's the thing, your purpose isn't always loud and obvious. It whispers, it nudges, it shows up in the things that light you up, the things you could talk about or do for hours without getting tired. Think back to when you were a child. What lit you up then? Before the world told you what you should do or who you should be, that's where the clues to your purpose lie. Now, here's a story to bring this home. There was a man who came to me frustrated and stuck. He had spent decades climbing the corporate ladder, earning accolades, making money, but he was miserable. He said to me, "Wayne, I don't even know who I am anymore. I've done everything society told me to do, and I still feel empty." I asked him one simple question, "What makes you feel alive?" At first, he looked at me like I was crazy. He said, "I don't have time for things that make me feel alive. I have responsibilities," but I pushed him. And finally, he admitted that the one thing he loved, the thing that made his heart race with excitement, was teaching others. Not in a classroom, but sharing what he'd learned in life. So I asked him, "What's stopping you?" And that's when it hit him. The only thing standing between him and his purpose was the belief that he couldn't do it, that it wasn't practical. But purpose isn't practical. Purpose is powerful. Purpose is magnetic. When you align with it, the entire universe rises to meet you. Here's a hook for you. You don't need to know how your purpose will unfold. You just need to take the first step. Let me repeat that you don't need to have all the answers. The path reveals itself as you walk it. Here's the next step. Release the need for approval. So many of us are living someone else's life, chasing someone else's dreams because we've been conditioned to seek validation. But your purpose doesn't need permission. Your purpose doesn't need applause. It needs action. Think about this. Every great soul who ever walked this earth, whether it was Gandhi, Mother Teresa, or Einstein, had moments of doubt. They had moments when the world told them, "You're crazy, you can't do this," but they didn't listen to the noise. They listened to the quiet voice within that said, "You're here for a reason, keep going." And guess what? You have that same voice. Now let's do a little exercise, Dot. I want you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, why am I here? Don't overthink it. Don't try to come up with the right answer. Just listen. What comes up? It might be a word, a feeling, an image. Whatever it is, trust it, because that's your purpose speaking to you. Let me tell you something that will blow your mind. Your purpose isn't just about you. It's about the impact you're here to make, the lives you're here to touch, the love you're here to share. When you align with your purpose, you don't just change your life, you change the world around you. Here's a question to carry with you. If today were your last day, would you be living the life you were born to live? If the answer is no, it's time to realign. Start small. Take one step toward what lights you up. Say yes to what feels true for you and no to what doesn't. And remember, purpose isn't about being perfect, it's about being you. Because you're not here by accident. You're here to align with purpose. And when you do, oh my friend, the world will never be the same. What if the greatest secret to happiness was already within you? Just imagine that for a moment. Not something out there you have to chase, not something someone else holds the key to, but something that's been inside you all along, waiting for you to notice it. See, the thing about happiness is this: most people think it's something to get. A new job, a better relationship, more money, more recognition. And don't get me wrong, those things feel good for a while. But then, like sand slipping through your fingers, the feeling fades and you're left wondering what's missing. Here's the answer: nothing is missing. Happiness isn't a destination, it's a way of being, a state you can step into right now. Yes, right now. But the catch is this: you have to stop looking for it out there. You have to look within. Here's a question for you. When was the last time you just sat with yourself, not scrolling through your phone, not worrying about tomorrow, but just being present, truly present with who you are? Most people avoid that silence because they're afraid of what they might find. But let me tell you something powerful. Within that silence lies the greatest secret to joy you'll ever discover. Let's break this down, Dot. The reason we feel like we're missing something is because we've been trained to seek happiness outside ourselves. From the moment we're born, society tells us to look outward, get the grades, get the job, get the house, get the pre-approval. But no one teaches us to stop and ask, what if everything I'm looking for is already here? Let me share a story with you. There was a man who spent years climbing the corporate ladder. He had the six-figure salary, the corner office, the applause of his peers. But one day, sitting in traffic in his shiny new car, he felt this deep emptiness. He thought, I have everything I ever wanted. Why do I still feel like something's missing? So he did something radical. He stepped away from it all and spent time in solitude, just sitting with himself. At first it was uncomfortable. His mind raced with all the things he should be doing. But eventually something shifted. In the stillness, he began to reconnect with a sense of peace he hadn't felt in years. That peace wasn't in the office, the car, or the paycheck. It was in him. It had been there all along. Now, here's the big hook. You don't have to quit your job or move to a cabin in the woods to find this. It's not about the external circumstances. It's about shifting your mindset, shifting your focus. Let me give you a practice to try, Dot. The next time you're feeling restless or dissatisfied, stop and take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Instead of asking, what do I need to feel better, ask, what can I notice within me right now? You might notice the simple rhythm of your breath. You might feel your heartbeat steady and strong. These are signs of life, signs of presence, signs that you are. And here's the truth: being alive, being present, being aware, that's the foundation of happiness. Here's another hook. Happiness doesn't come from getting more. It comes from appreciating what's already here. Think about it. How often do we rush through our days, chasing after the next thing without stopping to notice the beauty in front of us? The smile of a loved one, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the way the trees sway in the breeze. These moments are tiny invitations to happiness, but we miss them because we're too busy searching for something better. Let me ask you this. What if you stopped searching and started noticing? Here's the secret. Happiness isn't about having, it's about being present, being grateful, being open to the beauty that surrounds you and the beauty within you. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. That sounds nice, but my life is hard. You don't know what I'm dealing with, and you're right. I don't know your specific challenges, but here's what I do know. Happiness isn't about ignoring your struggles. It's about finding light even in the darkest moments. Let's talk about that, Dot. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow, to deepen your connection with yourself. When life gets tough, instead of asking, why me, try asking, what is this here to teach me? I'll give you an example. A woman I once spoke with had just gone through a painful divorce. She felt lost, like her entire identity had been tied to her marriage. But as she began to spend time with herself, something incredible happened. She discovered parts of herself she'd forgotten: her love for painting, her passion for helping others. In the midst of her pain, she found joy, not because her circumstances were perfect, but because she reconnected with who she truly was. Here's a truth to hold on to. Joy isn't the absence of pain, it's the presence of purpose. So how do you awaken this joy? Start by shifting your perspective. Instead of looking at life as something happening to you, see it as something happening for you. Let's do a quick exercise together. Think of one thing in your life right now that feels like a problem. Got it? Now ask yourself, what's one gift in this situation that I haven't seen yet? Maybe it's a chance to learn patience. Maybe it's pushing you to step out of your comfort zone. Whatever it is, trust that it's there, even if you can't see it yet. Here's a final thought for tonight. The happiness you're looking for isn't in the next achievement, the next relationship, or the next milestone. It's already within you. It's in your breath, your heartbeat, your awareness. When you stop chasing and start being, you'll realize there's nothing missing. You are whole. You are enough. And the greatest secret to happiness, it's been with you all along, waiting for you to uncover it. Thanks for joining me today. If you found value in this discussion, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more motivational content. Share your thoughts in the comments below.